Niemen Hao Peng Yemen. Welcome back to Jet Li's Rise to Honor.
He's not going anywhere.
This section of the game is going to be pretty dark, for which I apologize, but I can do nothing about. First thing we have to do is find a way to get out of sight in this, well, closed off little area.
Where'd he go?
Of course, guards lacking any vertical vision cannot actually look upwards or downwards, and so immediately fall prey to the hang from a pipe upside down technique. You can't hang on to pipes forever. Eventually your blue bar, your stamina bar, will run out. But you can usually hang out long enough to get whatever you need to get done. However, this is the point at which the stealth starts being a little irritating, because of things like stepping close to a guard and then he suddenly decides to wake up and look around.
Hello? We have you now.
So as it turns out, what you need to do at that point is just rush forward and grab onto the pipe, not back up at all.
Get back in there.
So let's try that again, but by doing the same thing we did the first time. I mean, surely with them throwing us back in here, they wouldn't fall for the same trick twice.
Where'd he go?
Or it could be exactly that, because they couldn't be bothered to come up with more than one fail state. Which, you know, it's fine. I mean, if you had more than one fail state, then it would require, I don't know, it'd require a lot more effort, and for what this game is, I mean, it's not bad. This stealth section could be worse. I know, because there's one later that is. So as I was saying, the trick here is to not stop. Just run as forward as fast as possible and grab onto the pipe. That's it. In fact, we're going to have to do that technique a few times, so get used to it. At this point, the game gets pretty dark, and I actually kind of have trouble telling what's going on as well. So, if you can't tell what's going on, don't feel bad. You're not the only one.
Shouldn't we have guns, in case there's any trouble?
Why? So you can shoot yourself in the foot again?
One time I made a mistake.
I guess there's a chair here, it looks like, that you can pick up.
Someone's here.
The only reason I knew it was there was because of the prompt, but, you know, I'll take it. Why not? This guy's a bit unique in that he really wants to go through that window. Like, if you karate chop him, he'll just kind of fall through, but if you grab him, then he'll hang on for dear life until you let go of him. I don't think there's a way to keep that guy from going through the window. Anyway, as I try and fumble my way through in the darkness, you're supposed to go over this way.
Huh?
Huh?
Now, it's a bit hard to tell in this next area, but what you actually need to do is jump up to that pipe, and then it'll let you go up to the next level, and then there's a pipe even further above that that you use to hide out from the flashlight. You know, you gotta give him the old multi-pipe. Then there's this guard who has in fact developed the ability to look up and down, and he's quite dangerous, because if you walk through his flashlight when it's pointing at you, you'll lose. Luckily, he has not managed to do both things at once, or hold his flashlight at a medium level, so we're really quite safe. Now look at this guy and tell me he's not asking for it. Look where he's standing.
Yeah! Hey, is that you?
No one here but us protagonists. This guy will just stand in place and, you know, do his thing, sweeping his flashlight back and forth. Sometimes he'll kind of pause the flashlight and scratch his butt, but I sit here for a while and try and count how many sweeps of the flashlight he does before he scratches his butt, but I can't. He doesn't do it again. So eventually you just gotta kind of go for it. I mean, there's enough space on either side for you to walk up and slap him in the face. And to break up the monotony, here's a small fight. Luckily, none of these guys have flashlights, which must have radios in them so they can call for backup. So we can just beat them up.
My turn! Come on! Block this! Block this! Take this! My turn! My turn! I'll get him!
That was fun. Time to move on back to stealth. Nope, that wasn't a joke. It really is just back to stealth. It's a really short segment though, so no big worries. There's only this guy and one guy upstairs to take care of, and that's it.
Oh.
With those guys taken care of, all we have to do is find our way onto the elevator and we'll be out of here. There is a convenient counterweight here. So, these guys aren't really anything special, but they are kind of a demonstration of one of the game's mechanics they don't explain well. If you go into adrenaline mode and enemies start dodging everything you're doing, it's probably a bad sign and you should probably stop. Otherwise you'll run out of adrenaline meter for when you inevitably have to constantly counter them. Though I do notice that when they kind of get close to you and do their little two-step, and you start to block, you get a little bit of adrenaline meter back, so I'm not sure if that's a way to keep you from being screwed by that. I don't know. It's just one of those things, like, again, if you had very obvious enemy distinctions, like this guy who wears this sort of thing is always a grabber, or a grappler, it'd make that whole identification thing easier, but they don't do it, so...
Let go of me!
Nah.
It's a long way down.
Thanks for letting me know. Have a nice trip.
Quite a fall, eh?
Hey, why did the blind man fall down the well? He couldn't see that well.
long way down.
This guy's a little trickier. He'll actually counter your grapples with a nice uppercut to the face. But luckily, he seems to be of that persuasion where he likes to throw out big combos that are easily counterable and get some punch in the face. So, hey, you know, we'll see him next fall. I mean, really, it's not the fall that kills you, it's the sudden stop at the end. He'll be fine.
He's escaped.
Can I just say, that guy has got a gigantic monkey wrench. Like, I'll admit that I am not much of an expert on monkey wrenches, but I don't think they're supposed to be that big. I'm not sure you can actually do any work with a wrench that is that large. Unless they're turning some awfully big nuts, I don't see it. Then again, maybe they got them from the Combat Wrench Emporium. I'm going to assume that's a real place. You know, that's a place you go whenever you need to get wrenches that are specifically for hitting people in the face. Combat Wrench Emporium, for all your turning needs. Also, there's an extra room here with nothing in it. It's just a bathroom. You know, I have to admit that the bathroom I enjoy the fact that this bathroom actually exists. It puts more thought into what you would need in an actual factory or warehouse or whatever this is.
It's over.
They actually put thought into the needs of what they would need in a place like this. They actually put in a bathroom. How many games have you encountered where the architecture does not have any bathrooms?
My turn.
Combat Wrench Emporium, for when the nuts you're dealing with are too big for regular wrenches.
Yes. Take this. I'll get him.
You know, I think it'd be really neat if those guys could actually shock each other when they just swing for the fences or kind of go up to you and awkwardly thrust out. Like, what if they both did it at the same time and the tips touched? Would that be like some sort of feedback effect? That'd be neat. You could say that'd really be a shocking encounter. Well, see, now we know for sure these guys are bad because they're wearing these white outfits, which implies that they're making the drugs. Plus, they've got those red heat lamps, which every pop culture I've ever seen with red heat lamps implies drugs or fast food. You know, same thing.
I'll get him. He's mine. My turn. Take this!
And with the sudden camera change, we know that we're safe to head back the way we came.
Your little tour ends here. I've been waiting for you.
Now we must fight our deadliest enemy yet, the Fore Man. He doesn't actually get a name or anything. He's just here. He's actually really tricky though. If you stand too close to a wall, he'll suddenly grab you and smash your face into it. That does also apply to the fish tank there. You'll see that later. But the thing is, he's very dodgy, but he also doesn't really... He doesn't really do any... He does one obvious move that's really obvious that you should be blocking it or dodging it. It's a bicycle kick. But aside from that, he's kind of a tricky jerk. See, and there's no warning on that. There's no opportunity to counter it. It just kind of happens. But see, that right there is his little bicycle kick, and when he does that, he leaves himself wide open to get punched in the face. So good for him. And see, he did that little, oh, I'm dizzy after you countered him, but then he immediately countered back, so he's tricky. Oh, no warning. And comboed. So here's the real question. Can I defeat the Fore Man with this little sliver of health? As it turns out, the answer is yes, but it's close. But the more he does silly little moves like that, the easier it gets. Now, see, the thing is too, his hands went into a different motion when he was blocking, so I'm not sure if that's a factor. He's just he's a very annoying enemy because he's not reliable in any way. Anyway,
He's escaped! Get him!
when in need, anything with gun in the name can be substituted for a real gun. I don't know who's running this place's workplace safety board, but it's gonna have to you have to reset the number of days since the last hardware accident, because these guys are getting nailed. However, there is a new threat. It's an enemy with a explosive object on his back. So these jerks will run towards you, and they are pretty impervious themselves, but they're not. The explosive barrels on their back are not nearly as impervious. So trick with those guys, you just gotta shoot the barrels instead of them. It's different. I'm pretty sure if they run into you, you're dead, but I'm not real positive on that. I try to avoid that sort of thing. Turns out their heavy-duty safety equipment leaves them immune to casual nail guns. Can't use these anymore. They're not cordless. I mean, as soon as you leave the area, they're gonna, you know, pull the plugs right out of the wall, and then where will you be? You also have these nail guns and sit there pointing at people, and they might be scared for a minute because they might think, oh no, about to get a nail to the face. But then you pull the trigger and nothing happens, and you kind of look like a doofus.
Ken,
Chi?
I escaped. You should have seen me.
Did you see Michelle?
Yeah, they took her up there.
Stay out of sight.
You gotta let me help. This is all my fault.
No, it's too dangerous.
Hey, but Ken,
Stay here.
I got your package. Looks like a lot of stuff here. Don't worry. I don't read Chinese. And what do you want me to do with our friends? Oh, such a shame. Especially the beautiful Miss Chang. Fine. I'll start with him. Watch her. I'll be back after I pay a visit to our guest, Mr. Yun.
And now we have to fight the fishermen. At least I assume that's why they have those giant hooks. Maybe these are longshoremen I through IX, 1 through 9. If you let them gang up on you, they can take out your block gauge pretty quickly, but they're also extremely fragile.
I'll get out. Come on!
This is going to be fun.
Hit him so his mom won't even recognize him!
Our final obstacle for the area is going to be William Soon himself. He does fight with Kama, but really his weakness is that he'll do combo attacks and leave himself wide open after they finish. So assuming your stamina bar hangs in there after he finishes a combo,
Now this is my specialty.
you can punch him in the face. Now when he pulls out 2 of them, it becomes a slightly different story. Whenever he does one of those little backflips, he'll do his own little adrenaline combo that will pretty much drain your entire bar and then some.
Don't stand there!
So if you see him do a backflip, it's time to run away. If you see him just kind of swing at you, then it's time to punch him in the face.
Don't let up! Hit him so his mom won't even recognize him! Keep him surrounded! Don't stand there! Don't just stand there!
With enough perseverance, William is really kind of a pushover.
Don't just stand there!
But this is about to be over, so I'm gonna hop out, and please join me next time.
Don't let up! Get him!
Kit, are you all right? Chi?
I just wanted to help.
You have.
I screwed up again.
Gee, you saved my life.
You promised we'd all be together again. Remember? Oh, I...
有義氣。
We have to get back to Hong Kong. This has to end.